If certification prep is part of your plan, subscribe for new practice videos and guides every week. Visit cloudcertificationstore.com for weekly releases and complete question banks. Let's keep building your AWS Certified AI Practitioner, AIF-C01, exam readiness. This is episode 9 in the Get It Done Certified playlist, and we're covering questions 81 through 90. Question 81. A company wants to use Amazon Bedrock with flexibility and no long-term commitment. Which pricing model? Option A, on demand. Option B, model customization. Option C, provision throughput. Option D, spot instance. The correct answer is A, on demand. Explanation. On-demand charges per token/request with no pre-purchase or reservation. It's ideal for experimentation, pilots, and variable workloads. You can later switch to provisioned throughput if you need guaranteed capacity. It maximizes flexibility at the start. Why not option B? Model customization, a feature/workflow that incurs extra cost to fine-tune, not a pricing model for baseline usage. It doesn't remove commitment, it adds it. This choice confuses capability with pricing. Not correct. Why not option C? Provisioned throughput requires capacity reservations and commitments for predictable performance. It's great for steady traffic, not for maximum flexibility. Opposite of the stated preference. Hence, incorrect. Why not option D? Spot instance and EC2 compute concept. Bedrock doesn't expose spot pricing for model invocations. Mixing compute purchasing with FM usage is a category error. Therefore, not applicable. Question 82. Which AWS service/feature helps a team quickly deploy and consume an FM inside their VPC? Option A, Amazon Personalize. Option B, Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart. Option C, Party Rock Bedrock Playground. Option D, Amazon SageMaker Endpoints. The correct answer is B, Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart. Explanation. Jumpstart offers curated deployable models, including some FMs, with one-click provisioning to your VPC. It streamlines wiring, storage, permissions, and endpoints for you. This reduces setup time and undifferentiated heavy lifting. It's purpose-built for quick starts. Why not option A? Personalize, a managed recommendation service, not a general FM deployer. It doesn't expose third-party FMs into your VPC. Different problem domain. Thus, not suitable. Why not option C? Party Rock, a demo playground experience, not an enterprise deployment mechanism. It's not an AWS production service for VPC hosting. Using it won't put models into your VPC. Therefore, incorrect. Why not option D? SageMaker endpoints host models, but Jumpstart simplifies obtaining/packaging/deploying curated FMs quickly. Using endpoints alone still requires you to source and containerize models. Hence, Jumpstart better matches, quickly deploy and consume. Question 83. How can companies use LLMs securely on Amazon Bedrock? Option A. Design clear, specific prompts. Configure IAM roles/policies with least privilege. Option B. Enable AWS Audit Manager for automatic model evaluation jobs. Option C. Enable Bedrock automatic model evaluation jobs. Option D. Use CloudWatch logs to make models explainable and to monitor for bias. The correct answer is A. Design clear, specific prompts. Configure IAM with least privilege. Explanation. Clear prompts reduce risky ambiguity and constrain model behavior at the source. Least privilege IAM limits which identities can invoke which models with what permissions. Together, they reduce both misuse and unauthorized access. This is the practical baseline for secure LLM operations. Why not option B? Audit Manager helps with compliance evidence. It doesn't secure runtime access or change model behavior. It complements but doesn't replace IAM and prompt controls. Alone, it won't secure usage. Therefore, insufficient. Why not option C? Bedrock Model Evaluation evaluates quality/safety traits but doesn't enforce access restrictions. It is diagnostic, not a policy mechanism. You still need proper IAM and guardrails. Hence, not the core security answer. Why not option D? CloudWatch logs useful for monitoring, not for preventive security or explainability guarantees. Logs are reactive. They do not block or constrain. They support audits after controls are in place. Thus, not the primary security control. Question 84. A company has terabytes of data and wants an app that converts natural language input into SQL for analysis by non-experts. What approach? Option A. Generative Pre-trained Transformers GPT. Option B. Residual Neural Network. Option C. Support Vector Machine. Option D. WaveNet. The correct answer is A. Generative Pre-trained Transformers GPT. Explanation. GPT-style LLMs excel at code synthesis from natural language, including SQL generation. With schema hints and examples, they produce executable queries reliably. You can add guards, e.g., read-only roles to contain risk. This directly bridges non-technical users to data. Why not option B? ResNet, a vision architecture for images, not designed for text or SQL. It cannot parse language instructions or generate code. Entirely wrong modality. Hence, incorrect. Why not option C? SVM, a supervised classifier/regressor. It doesn't emit structured code from language. Training it for NL right arrow SQL would be impractical and brittle, not a generative model. Therefore, not suitable. Why not option D? WaveNet, a generative audio model for speech synthesis, irrelevant to query generation. Different domain and outputs, not applicable to NL right arrow SQL. Thus, wrong choice. Question 85. A company deployed an object detection model to production. When the model analyzes a new image to identify objects, what process is occurring? Option A. Training. Option B. Inference. Option C. Model deployment. Option D. Bias correction. The correct answer is B. Inference. Explanation. Inference is the application of a trained model to unseen data to produce predictions. It runs the forward pass and decoding without updating weights. Latency, throughput, and accuracy at this stage drive user experience. This is the operational phase after training. Why not option A? Training adjusts weights using labeled data and loss gradients. That happens offline before production, not during routine predictions. Analyzing a new image without updating weights is not training. Hence, incorrect. Why not option C? Model deployment is the act of shipping the model to a serving environment. It precedes runtime predictions and is a DevOps/ML ops step. The question describes the use of the deployed model. Therefore, not deployment. Why not option D? Bias correction techniques to detect/mitigate bias happen during data prep, training, or post-processing. Simply scoring an image isn't bias correction. Different lifecycle concern. Thus, not applicable. Keep the momentum going. Subscribe for new certification practice every week. Visit cloudcertificationstore.com for weekly releases, previews, and complete question banks. Question 86. An AI practitioner is building a model to generate images of humans in various professions and finds the input data is biased, producing biased images. Which technique will solve the problem? Option A. Data augmentation for imbalanced classes. Option B. Model monitoring for class distribution. Option C. Retrieval augmented generation RAG. Option D. Watermark detection for images. The correct answer is A. Data augmentation for imbalanced classes. Explanation: augmenting underrepresented groups, e.g., gender, ethnicity, age, increases balance without expensive recollection. It reduces model bias by exposing the model to a more representative distribution. Techniques include flips, crops, style/lighting shifts, and synthetic oversampling. Done well, it improves fairness while preserving visual diversity. Why not option B? Model monitoring for class distribution. Monitoring detects drift or imbalance but doesn't correct it. You still need a remediation step, rebalancing or reweighting. It's necessary for visibility, not sufficient for mitigation. Alone, it won't fix bias generations. Why not option C? RAG retrieval improves factual grounding for text tasks. It's not a standard fix for image generation bias. Image diffusion models don't retrieve fairness from documents. This won't address representational imbalance in the training corpus. Why not option D? Watermark detection identifies source marks. It has nothing to do with demographic balance. It neither changes datasets nor model behavior regarding bias. Irrelevant to the fairness objective. Question 87. A company is implementing the Amazon Titan FM in Bedrock and needs to supplement it with relevant private data. Which solution meets this requirement? Option A. Use a different FM. Option B. Choose a lower temperature value. Option C. Create an Amazon Bedrock knowledge base. Option D. Enable model invocation logging. The correct answer is C. Create an Amazon Bedrock knowledge base. Explanation: a Bedrock knowledge base ingests and indexes your private content for retrieval during inference RAG. It keeps models lightweight and reduces hallucinations by grounding answers. Updating knowledge just means re-ingesting data, no fine-tuning cycle. This is the most direct path to using private sources securely. Why not option A? Use a different FM. Switching models doesn't integrate private data, it just changes base capabilities. You'll still lack domain grounding. The problem is data access, not FM selection. Why not option B? Lower temperature controls creativity/randomness, not access to private knowledge. You might get more conservative text that's still uninformed. It doesn't solve the data integration gap. Why not option D? Invocation logging, useful for audit and debugging, but doesn't enrich the model's context. Logs don't feed the model during generation. No path to improved accuracy from private sources. Question 88. A medical company is customizing an FM for diagnostics and must satisfy transparency/explainability requirements. Which solution fits? Option A. Configure security and compliance with Amazon Inspector. Option B. Generate bias/explainability reports with Amazon SageMaker Clarify. Option C. Encrypt and secure training data with Amazon Macy. Option D. Gather more data and use Amazon Recognition to add custom labels. The correct answer is B. Generate bias/explainability reports with Amazon SageMaker Clarify. Explanation: Clarify provides feature attributions, bias metrics, and summary reports pre/post training. These artifacts help regulators and clinicians understand drivers of predictions. It supports dataset bias checks, prediction explanations, and comparative analysis. It directly addresses explainability mandates. Why not option A? Inspector finds software/package vulnerabilities. It doesn't explain model decisions. Security posture is separate from interpretability. It won't satisfy clinical explainability requirements. Why not option C? Macy detects sensitive data in S3. It's about data protection, not model transparency. Important for privacy compliance but orthogonal to explainability. Doesn't produce interpretability artifacts. Why not option D? Recognition labeling helps build image datasets but doesn't explain diagnostic outputs. More labels can improve performance, not transparency. It doesn't produce bias or attribution reports. Question 89. An image classification model predicts plant diseases from leaf photos. The team wants to evaluate how many images were classified correctly. Which metric? Option A, R-squared. Option B, accuracy. Option C, RMSE. Option D, learning rate. The correct answer is B, accuracy. Explanation. Accuracy is the proportion of correctly classified images out of all evaluated images. It's intuitive and aligns with the stated goal, how many correct. It serves as a baseline KPI before precision/recall or per-class metrics, simple to communicate to stakeholders. Why not option A? R-squared regression metric for continuous outcomes, not applicable to discrete classes. It won't reflect correct/incorrect counts. Using it would mischaracterize performance. Why not option C? RMSE measures average error magnitude in regression, not classification correctness. It cannot express class-wise hits/misses. Inappropriate for this task. Why not option D? Learning rate, a training hyperparameter, not a performance metric. It influences optimization but doesn't measure accuracy. Irrelevant to evaluation. Question 90. A fine-tuned Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart model backs a compliant chatbot. Which capabilities can the company show compliance for? Option A, auto-scaling inference endpoints. Option B, threat detection. Option C, data protection. Option D, cost optimization. Option E, loosely coupled microservices. The correct answers are A and C. Option A, auto-scaling inference endpoints. Option C, data protection. Explanation. Auto-scaling demonstrates resilience/availability controls, e.g., capacity to meet demand within SLAs. Data protection covers encryption in transit/at rest, EM and KMS integration, core to many frameworks. Together they address operational continuity and confidentiality/integrity. These are commonly auditable controls for regulated workloads. Why not option B? Threat detection requires services like guard duty/detective/WAF, not a jumpstart endpoint capability. Jumpstart by itself doesn't provide IDS/IPS. This is outside the model-serving feature set. Why not option D? Cost optimization, a best practice rather than a compliance control. Audits rarely treat cost as a regulatory requirement, not an evidentiary capability of the endpoint. Why not option E? Loosely coupled microservices and architectural style, not a compliance feature. It may aid resilience, but it's not a direct, auditable control provided by Jumpstart. That's the end of this practice session. Follow the channel if you'd like more exam-style questions and explanations, and share this video with anyone you know who is working toward this certification. See you in the next episode.